Rabbit Marks the Spot is fun and creative and very sweet. This is the first segment in the second episode of the second season of The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And Piglet, Gopher, Tigger, and Pooh Bear are playing at being pirates. They all look wonderful. I love the costumes. Piglet, in particular, looks very cute. And they're digging around, and Rabbit's really annoyed, so Rabbit decides to teach them a lesson by filling a treasure chest with rocks and planting a fake treasure map, so that they have to spend time digging it up, getting the treasure, and then obviously realizing it's just rocks. But needless to say, things don't go according to Rabbit's plan. And I have some really positive thoughts about what actually happened ultimately, but obviously that's a spoiler, so I'll discuss that in a moment. But having it pirate themed is great fun, particularly great for the target audience. A lot of children love pirates, and playing pirates is something they can also replicate at home after watching the episode. Rabbit has some important lessons to learn, and I have to say, I was really impressed. What Rabbit did started to eat away at him, and it really got to his conscience, and it was affecting his sleep. And I think that that's a good lesson, the initial lesson, about not doing practical jokes and pranks, because it might mean that the other people will no longer like you. And this is what Rabbit was fearing. And I think that in itself is a pretty good message, especially as I think today more than ever children are doing pranks more and more thanks to, prank trends on the internet. So it's definitely a really vital message. But then we get an even more wonderful message as the narrative rounds itself off. So I'll discuss that now. So spoilers from now. I'm going to discuss ultimately what happened with this treasure chest. So spoilers, when they find the treasure chest and they get the rocks, Rabbit is full of apologies, but everybody else just sees treasure. And there are two ways of looking at this. On the one hand, it's the power of imagination, because they start thinking that they're things like doorstops, and I can't remember what Tigger said his was, but all different kinds of things. Pooh was going to use it to prop up his wobbly chair or table, and I think that that's brilliant that they can look at these things and imagine them as something else. But it's also a lesson in the fact that what's one man's rubbish is another man's treasure. What's just a pile of rocks to one person is a world of wonder to somebody else, to somebody with an imagination. And I think that's a lovely lesson as well, that even the most simple of things, I mean, rocks are far from simple, but even the most seemingly non-treasured things can be really important. And the biggest lesson is that everybody wanted to share that treasure with Rabbit. And I kind of feel like they knew what was going on, and they didn't want Rabbit to feel too bad about it, so they just shared things with him. If that's the case, I think that that's wonderful. And I rather enjoyed it. Thought we had some really sweet messages in this episode. Beautifully animated. Loved seeing them as pirates. A lot of fun with some really good lessons in there as well.